I'm documenting this. I'm being accused of stealing a kid's phone. I don't have
it. Go ahead, record. I already told the police I've got the suspect here. You're not going anywhere. You're not leaving. I told you that.
Ma'am, I don't have your son's phone.
I don't believe you.
You can't block me in like this. You can't just trap me here because you decided I did
stole
something.
On a regular Tuesday evening, Darius Cole walked into Walmart thinking about two things: how low his phone battery was and what he was going to eat for dinner. That was it. No big plans. No drama. He'd just gotten off his IT job. Tired but chill mood you get after a long day. He grabbed a blue basket, checked the list on his cracked screen, and headed straight for electronics. New charger, some batteries, paper towels, frozen pizza, in and out. About the same time, a white woman named Lori was walking those same aisles with her 13-year-old son, Ethan. Walking ahead of the cart, cutting through people. Nothing special. Just three people in a big store, crossing paths without even noticing. But here's the thing. Sometimes a normal moment has a switch hidden inside it. A tiny mistake, a missing item, one person's bias. Then suddenly someone's whole life is on the internet. Because 20 minutes after Darius picked up that charger, Lori would be standing in a parking lot yelling that he was a thief. And it would all start with 4 words. "Where's my son's phone?" Darius turned around halfway through comparing 2 brands of cheap phone chargers and saw her, Lori, standing at the end of the aisle, eyes locked on him like she'd found something. He glanced behind him, then back at her. "I'm sorry," he said. "My son's phone," she repeated, stepping closer. "He had it right here. You were standing over here. Now it's gone." For a second, Darius honestly thought she had to be talking to someone else. Maybe there was another guy behind him. Maybe her son was around the corner. He even took a small step to the side, like he was making space for whoever she meant. But she followed the step. "I'm not playing games," Lori said. "Give it back." "Now, look, you're just trying to buy a charger, and suddenly you're the main suspect in a crime you didn't even know happened." Darius blinked slowly. He set the charger back on the hook so both his hands were visible. "Ma'am, I don't have your son's phone," he said. "I've got my own right here." He pulled his phone from his pocket, held it up. "You were right here when he lost it," she said. "I watched you. You were standing behind him, pretending to look at stuff." Now it clicked what this was. Not a misunderstanding. She'd already decided who did it. A Walmart employee in a blue vest rolled past with a cart of returns, catching the tail end of the tension. "Everything okay over here?" the worker asked. "No, it's not," Lori snapped. She pointed straight at Darius. "He stole my son's phone. I want someone to check his pockets." The employee froze, eyes bouncing between them. Darius forced himself to stay steady. He didn't raise his voice. "Look, I'm buying a charger and some groceries, that's it. I don't have your kid's phone. You can check my basket." He tipped the basket a little. Charger, paper towels, frozen pizza, some snacks. No extra phone. "Why are you so defensive?" Lori demanded. "If you didn't do anything, you wouldn't mind being checked." Darius straightened up. "I've told you I don't have it. I'm going to pay for my stuff and leave now." He walked toward the front to self-checkout. He could hear her behind him, still talking, her voice carrying over the low store music. "He's just walking away, see? That's suspicious. Somebody stop him." A couple of people glanced over. A man with a cart full of dog food looked at Darius, then at Lori, then pretended to focus on his receipt. Nobody stepped in. Nobody said, "Ma'am, you don't have proof." Lori hovered just outside the self-checkout area, arms crossed, staring. As soon as he picked up his bags and started walking toward the exit, she fell in line right behind him like a shadow, her voice getting louder. "You're not going to get away with this," she said. "We're calling the police." "Ma'am, please stop following me," Darius said, not turning around. "I told you I don't have your phone." "Then why are you rushing out?" she shot back. "Guilty people always try to leave." He stepped through the sliding doors into the humid evening air, that mix of exhaust and hot asphalt. Lori kept pace with him, a half step behind. If you've ever been followed like that, you know the feeling. Your brain starts running through options. Do I stop? Do I argue? Do I run? About halfway to his car, Darius made his choice. He shifted the bags to one hand, slid his phone out with the other, and opened the camera. He flipped it to video and hit record. "This is crazy," he muttered under his breath, mostly to mark the moment. Then, a little clearer, "I'm being followed out of Walmart by a woman accusing me of stealing her son's phone. I've shown her I don't have it." "Go ahead and record me," Lori said, now extra loud, like she wanted an audience. "I want it on video. You stole from a kid." They reached his car, a silver sedan, parked a few rows out. Darius set his bags down by the driver's door and turned to face her more directly, keeping his phone up. "Ma'am, I'm asking you again. Stop following me," he said. "You're making me feel unsafe." "You're not leaving," she snapped. "Not until the cops get here." But here's where your change comes in. She didn't step in front of the car. She hovered close instead, just to the side, blocking the space. Close enough that driving off would be impossible. A couple walking to their SUV slowed down, watching. Someone farther back pulled out their phone, recording from a distance. The parking lot had its own audience now. Lori pulled out her phone with quick, jerky movements and dialed. "Yes, I'd like to report a theft," she said, staring straight at Darius while she spoke. "We're at Walmart on East Ridge. This man stole my son's phone and he's trying to leave. Yes, he's still here. Yes, I feel unsafe." Darius heard that last part and felt his stomach drop. "I feel unsafe." Those 3 words had put a lot of people who looked like him in handcuffs, or worse. If you were watching this live, what would you do? Would you walk over and say something? A few minutes later, the faint echo of a siren drifted into the lot. Blue and red lights reflected off windshields as a patrol car turned into the entrance, slowly rolling toward them. Lori straightened up like she'd just won something. "There," she said. "Now we'll see what you have to say." The doors opened and 2 officers stepped out, Ramirez and Blake. Lori moved first, of course. She broke away from her spot near Darius's car and rushed toward them like she'd been waiting for backup. "That's him," she said, pointing. "He stole my son's phone and tried to leave. I feel totally unsafe." Ramirez held up a hand toward Lori. "Ma'am, we'll talk to you. Just give us a second," he said. Then he turned to Darius. "Sir, what's going on?" "This woman has been following me since I left the store," he said evenly. "She says I stole her son's phone. I don't have it. I just finished shopping. My receipt is in one of these bags." Behind the officers, Lori threw her hands up. "He's lying." Blake looked between them. "All right, one at a time," he said. "Sir, can you put the phone down for a moment?" "I'd like to keep recording for my safety, officer," Darius replied. "You're being recorded too, on your body cams, right?" Ramirez gave a small nod. "Yes, we are," he said. Ramirez glanced at the bags. "Do you mind showing us what you bought?" Darius didn't love that, but he could also feel the weight of the situation. "I don't consent to a search," he said carefully, "but I am willing to show you my receipt and what I just purchased to clear this up." He slowly opened the bag. He found the receipt and held it out. Ramirez checked. Behind them, Lori kept going. "He's hiding it," she insisted. Now, at this point, if you were watching from a distance, maybe you'd think, okay, this is a mess, but maybe it really is some misunderstanding. But then the whole situation flipped in one small sentence. A voice called from farther down the parking lot. Mom, I found it." Everyone turned. Ethan was jogging toward them from the row where their SUV was parked, holding a black phone in his hand. He slowed as he got closer, eyes flicking from his mom to the officers to Darius. "It was in the car," he said, a little out of breath. "I left it in the cup holder." For a second, everything just stopped. Ramirez's eyebrows lifted. He looked at the phone, then at Lori. Lori's face went red, then tight. "Are you kidding me?" she snapped at her son. "Why didn't you check the car before I called them?" Ethan shrank back a little. I remembered when I got there," he mumbled. That was the moment, right there, where she could have turned, faced Darius, and said, "I'm sorry, I was wrong." She did not. Ramirez turned to Darius. "Sir, do you still not have any property of theirs?" he asked, more out of formality than doubt. "No, officer," Darius said. "I never did. Ramirez nodded. All right. From what I'm seeing here, this was a misunderstanding about the phone's location. Darius looked at him, then tilted his phone, so the officer's face was clearly in frame. I feel like I've been harassed and profiled. Lori rolled her eyes. Oh, give me a break. Ramirez's tone got slightly more formal. Ma'am, we're going to document what happened. I'll need both of you to give statements. There's no theft here, Ramirez replied. They moved a little to the side so the patrol car dash. Ramirez took down Darius's information, explained that a report would be filed, and handed him a small card with the case number. If you feel like you were treated unfairly, this incident number will help. If you want to follow up, Ramirez said quietly. Darius nodded. I do, he said. And I will. One of the bystanders, a middle-aged man in a work shirt, stepped forward then. I saw most of it, he told Ramirez. If he needs a witness, you can put my name down. Lori stomped back toward her SUV. No apology, no acknowledgement, just anger at being proven wrong. Eventually, the patrol car pulled away. The crowd thinned out. The parking lot went back to normal, cars coming and going, carts rattling into corrals. But things weren't normal for Darius. Later that night, Darius sat on his couch. He decided to post a video. Caption, accused of stealing a kid's phone at Walmart. This is what being black in America looks like. He stared at that caption for a long moment. Then he hit post on TikTok, then went up on Instagram Reels right after. At first, nothing huge, a couple of likes, a few comments. But every time he picked the phone back up, the numbers had jumped. 200 views, then 2,000, then 10,000. By the next afternoon, the video wasn't just doing numbers. It had a life of its own. Internet detectives did what they always do. Within hours, somebody found Lori's social media. Darius hadn't asked for any of that, but it was happening anyway. At her office across town, Lori walked into work like it was a normal day. She had no idea her phone was blowing up because she kept it on silent at her desk. Her first clue something was off came when two coworkers went quiet mid-conversation as she walked past. When she sat down and opened her email, there was a message from her boss. We are placing you on administrative leave while we complete an internal review, the director said, effective immediately. Heat rising in her face. Over one misunderstanding, word spread faster than the official memo. By late afternoon, Lori's name was trending locally. Her personal Facebook was flooded, some defending her, but a lot more calling her out. Darius, meanwhile, watched the escalation from his phone with mixed feelings. This was what people had said they wanted when they commented, actions have consequences, and I hope she loses her job. Now it was actually happening. A week after the video blew up, Darius sat in a small conference room. Across from him, attorney Maya Ellison had his video paused on her laptop. Maya said, okay, here's what we're going after. She wrote 3 phrases on a legal pad and turned it toward him. Defamation, false imprisonment. Emotional distress, defamation, she said, underlining it, because she told the world you were a thief. In the parking lot on a 911 call. That's a false statement that harms your reputation. False imprisonment, she continued, because she intentionally kept you there. She may not have chained you up, but hovering, blocking, insisting you couldn't leave until police arrived, that counts. And emotional distress, she finished, because this wasn't just some mix-up. This was racial, public, humiliating. The video shows all of that. They filed the lawsuit. It didn't turn into a dramatic TV trial. Real life almost never does. There were months of letters, emails, calls between lawyers, a deposition where Darius had to relive the whole thing under oath. Lori showed up once, eyes fixed on the table. Eventually, her side agreed to settle. A confidential payment, a written apology drafted by her attorney and signed by her. A line in the agreement where she acknowledged her accusations were false and unfounded, When the check cleared, Darius did a few simple, quiet things. He paid off his credit card, helped his mom with a medical bill, and one night he scrolled back to the original video and deleted it from his page. Not because it didn't matter anymore, but because he finally felt like it didn't own him. When people talk about cases like this, they love to jump straight to the ending. How much did he get? Did she lose her job? Did he win? But the real story isn't just the settlement or the apology letter typed up by some lawyer. It's that for 30 minutes in a Walmart parking lot, one woman's bias turned an ordinary black man into a suspect in front of strangers, police, and the internet. Darius didn't yell. He didn't shove past her. He didn't try to drive off and deal with it later. He did something simple but powerful. He told the truth out loud. So that's the story of how a quick Walmart trip turned into a public accusation, a viral video, and finally, a quiet kind of justice. Darius didn't ask to be a symbol. He just wanted to buy a charger and go home. But the moment someone decided that his existence looked suspicious, everything changed, until the truth on camera forced its way through. Stories like this aren't about making anyone internet famous. They're about reminding people your assumptions have consequences, your lies have consequences, and your phone can be more than a distraction. It can be a shield. If you watched all the way to the end, let me know in the comments. What would you have done if you were Darius? And what would you have done if you were standing in that parking lot watching it happen? If you want more real, modern stories about racism, accountability, and how people fight back with the truth, do me a favor. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Drop a like if this made you think. Share this video with someone who still thinks racial profiling is not a big deal or just a misunderstanding. The more people see it, the fewer times someone like Darius has to go through it alone.